kind of was reading, this Whitney was built upon, And so, he contacted me and was like, I've been thinking a lot about what you were saying and we should collaborate. And introduced me to Zackary, even though I knew who Zackary was, but, which I knew was going to be the perfect fit, And so then we spent 3 years in the trenches.
Too. But I'll just say that I have that like fluttery feeling of fate the first time I met Kristen and looking at you, and I just instantly have this feeling of like this is gonna be something, and sure enough it is.
I want to ask you, Matt, what was and really Kristen and Zackary, you can really jump in here, but what was the amount of time between development to pre-production, to production, to wrap, to post-production? How much time span between all of that?
I think I met Kristen in 2019, the pandemic, and then it took us 2 years. The film happened quickly. It felt kind of easy. Everybody wanted to be part of this film and to tell its story, and we were a really unified team, and it happened quickly.
Yeah, it was like an instant. That's why I call it the trenches, because we went into a deep dive, and we
didn't stop.
Non-stop.
For 2 years, we worked through the summer, and it was a small team, honestly. I mean, there's 5 of us here who were in it every day, Joanna, Mel, Matt, Kristen, and I, and yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, you have to have a skeletal crew just to get through everything, and really, so I have so many questions at this point based on that response, but let's pass it on to Mel, Sukekawa.
It's a beast of a name, yeah.
I want to ask you, you had really brought everything to this film. There's archival footage, there's testimony, there is the footage from the film, there's also graphic and animation. So what was your conform for the tech nerds out there? What was your conform process like?
We started from a place of, we had such incredible interviews because of Kristen and her sisters and her family and her community. So I think it was just starting from the interviews and seeing like what was there, and from then, we had an incredible archival producer, Olivia, who really brought the world to life. I think for a lot of people who are familiar with the meatpacking district as it is today, and you saw, the slow kind of glitz, glamour, scrubbing, erasure. It's very shocking to be suddenly, in the meatpacking district. And so I think that was a really critical part of our film, was just to use as much archival as we could to create this world, to create this place. And for moments that we couldn't with archival, where we wanted the stories and the experiences, I think animation just made so much sense. And Awesome and Modest is such a phenomenal collaborator, so much fun, so brilliant. Any idea you have, you just start with a little thing and they come back and it's 10 times what you could have imagined even happened. And so it was just such a pleasure to collaborate with them. So I think it was a combination of starting from the interviews, then building with archival, and then creating a whole new brilliant world with all these phenomenal women who gave such wonderful performances. So thank you so much.
Yes, because I would imagine, yes, please give them a round of applause. I would imagine that over the years, a lot of the testimony and archival footage, everything, nobody wants to talk about trans sex workers. So a lot of that, those photos, everything gets lost and buried or burned or discarded in some way. So the animation really brings this film to life. So I want to ask each and all and feel free to pass the microphone, all of the animation artists and models, how you got involved with the film, and what was it like really to reenact and embody a lot of those traumatizing and even intimate moments a part of the film. Feel free to just start and go on down.
Hi y'all, my name is Donato. I'm one of the animation models on this project. And as an actor model that's also new to LA, like, I had some reservations when I booked this job, and I shared about it with Zackary, that like, this is gonna become a story about trans sex workers. And as a person who is also a sex worker and does advocacy work, I was like, hey, who's behind this project? You know, like, and I arrived to set, and I see Zackary, who we had met previously, I see my sisters, and I knew that I could trust the storytelling of this, because trans women are leading it. And that's important. And so, you know, in thinking about how I'm gonna show up, like, it was like just being with the girls on the street, like reenacting those stories. We had fun, but like, it was also like very like healing, and we shared some deep stories too, and it just brought us so much closer together, I feel like, since then. So I really wanna also acknowledge that and thank y'all for telling the stories. So many parallels to my personal life, and I'm just like deeply touched.
So I think I represent the older generation of the bunch here.
I just
So,
said that one.
okay. So I'm 50 plus, and so I remember a lot of all of this happening, like living in San Francisco in the 90s, watching things change, coming to LA, and watching LA change in 2000, and a lot of the girls fighting for rights and what Day of Remembrance looked like for the first time in West Hollywood. So watching that turnover after 9/11, we not only got that in like places like New York, but you saw a lot of that here in LA during the same time period, when we talk about how the changing of work on Santa Monica and working from Backpages and Redbook and all of those different ads. You know, a lot of the girls, that was how we survived. It was easier then, you know. 9/11 took away a lot of stuff. It made it harder for us, but also during that time, like 2005, California started really changing and laws started coming into effect. We started having the Real ID Act come through. That helped a lot of girls change their name and get legal. And so for us here in California, whereas a lot of states we didn't have those rights, here in California we have a lot of rights just in the beginning that were popping off. Doctors were able to, we didn't have to go to methadone clinics to get hormonal treatment. We were able to go to doctors and get blood work done and see hormonal therapists and go through therapy. You know, today, because of a lot of work that has been done, you have places like Children's Hospital Adolescent Division that has a division just for trans youth, where they can get therapy and healthcare and case management. So a lot has changed, and this film is going